We are different people now. Like, how does that work?
You change. I've grown. They stayed the same. And that's the issue at hand.
Can that be a topic of discussion? Because there's history there that is worth hanging on to.
Have you ever been victimized by new age spirituality?
We've been we've been waiting for you. We've been waiting.
You're going to want to listen up.
I'm Megan, an intuitive life coach and Reiki master.
I'm Ryan, a professional astrologer, and we want to show you what spirituality is by talking about what it is not.
Con artist,
Yes,
snake oil salesman.
there are so many susceptible people out there.
And then they're tainted. They're ruined. They don't want to come back to spirituality.
We still have a lot to learn, and we will humble ourselves and learn, I think, every freaking day. This is Clairannoyance.
A podcast of spiritual interference. Hey.
Hello again,
Hello, darkness.
my old friend. It is. That's very apropos because it's Libra season. Libra is the start of fall, right? That's when the nights get darker. We literally are welcoming in the darkness. Libra's called the setting place because it's where the sun sets in the birth chart.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I feel that. I feel that on an instinctual, guttural, all levels,
Yeah.
letting the darkness come in.
Mm-hmm. Ugh. Um, and speaking of that, we're fresh off a new moon eclipse in Libra, which is the last one for another like decade in Libra. I think we might have one next year, actually. Maybe I'll scratch that. I can't remember. We kind of balance, even though next year the eclipses are technically Pisces Virgo axis. It's a weird situation where we're gonna still flip flop back to this axis. I definitely know we have Aries eclipse next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might have a Libra one. Anyway, uh,
Now, why would we not?
I mean, like, I'm done with it. I'm fucking over it. Can we move on, please? God, my natal eclipse axis is Virgo Pisces, so I'm like, yeah, can we go there? Can we please? And my North Node's Pisces, so I'm like, yes, North Node's gonna move into Pisces. I'm gonna have my nodal return. Like, hopefully that's
Ooh.
good. But every Pisces eclipse that's happening in this next cycle is a full moon eclipse. Why can't it be a fucking new moon on my North Node? Come on. Why does it gotta be a
Oh,
fucking full moon?
God.
Please don't fuck me up. Please. Oh
Oh,
my God. Anyway, how are you feeling after the eclipse?
I'm tired. I mean, I've been sleeping heavily more. This is a very transitional month. October kicks off a whole lot of changes. And so, what half the day I'm like, I got this. I'm unstoppable. I'm ready. And then the other half of the day, I am crawling in a corner crying.
Mm,
So it just depends. And sometimes, normally I'm like, okay, I got this. I got this. But woo, change is a coming per the eclipse, so things are ending, and they're karmic, so you have to allow them. And then I also have a lot of great opportunities coming in as well, but it's just a bit overwhelming because it happens all at once. It's not like you get a break. And on top of that, it's not like life is already chaotic because of what I manage, because of what I do for a living, which I'm so grateful, but it's like I have no choice, but I have to deal with there's no not dealing with my personal life. I don't have the luxury of like shelving it. Like I have to deal with things as they come so I can stay on top for my clients. Because sometimes, a bitch just wants to live in denial for a little bit. Okay. I just want to numb out. And like the most numbing I can do is I ate an edible, but even then I'm groggy. Or like even social media, I can't even like zone out there because it's such bullshit. And then what's happened, this horrible flooding that's happened in Western North Carolina, it's just so heartbreaking because of Hurricane Helene. Have you seen that? Have you seen
yeah.
any of that on the
The
news?
hurricane?
Yeah, the hurricane,
Yeah.
the flooding that came and it's like
Yeah.
absolutely destroyed Asheville and Western North Carolina. So it's like people are dying left and right. There's so many old people or just people up in the hills, like poor, like, or people who not like, they live remotely. No one thought that that sort of water could happen. And so that's just heartbreaking. So anyway, I'm just like ready to, I gotta move. So a big move is coming at the end of the month and downsizing, which is wonderful. I will say one universal truth is that the universe abhors, it absolutely can't stand space. So if you have space, it's
Mm.
going to fill it. If you create a vacuum in your life, and I know this because at one point in my life, I sold just about everything I owned and I moved into an RV. And now I've now live in a 2-bedroom apartment and I'm downsizing again. And I'm like, where did all this stuff come from? Where has all this stuff come from? How I am a minimalist.
All these things, right?
Yeah, when you have a vacuum, when you create a vacuum, a space, then it's gonna get filled, which I'm so grateful. But now it's like, do I sell this? Do I donate it? Do I do this?
Mm. Yeah.
I'm trying to, attempt in my personal life has not been done uh really a lot by anyone. So I'm navigating that. And, even my therapist is like, yeah, what you're trying to do, this is new, which at some point, there are but at some point we'll talk about that. But it's just a lot. But you know what? Then you come swing back the other way around. And it's like, well, I'm grateful. I'm trucking, I'm moving.
Well, everybody should look at where Libra's at in your chart because that's where a new beginning is unfolding. It's like there's like a good 6 months, honestly, on either side of any eclipse. Like, and I mean, really, this really does relate back to pretty much a year ago was a eclipse in Libra, in October last year. But for you, as a Cap rising, that means Libra's in your 10th house, career, reputation, big long-term goals. What do you want your obituary to say? So even if things don't immediately happen right now, like there's a whole 6 month unfolding at this point until the March eclipses.
It's so funny you say that too, because I'm like, I've got these different business ideas that I'm like, and I'm, I'm not scared to launch it, but I'm like, okay, let me see where, I'm going to be, adding in addition to the 4 quarterly retreats I do, in an intensive retreat, and then like a summer camp retreat, and then really focusing more on community and events in addition to working on one-on-one on clients. So it's like, okay, how do I incorporate all this? So it's funny you say that because it's really been just on the forefront. Different coaching opportunities and not a remodel of my business per se, but how can I be more effective?
It's a like eclipse. No, I'm just saying eclipses in the
Yeah.
10th house. Like that's a total refresh, rebrand,
Yeah.
whatever. Go for it. And it's new. It's new stuff. And but it's with the South node. So there's a letting go, a purging of something and or something from the past coming back and that being the new beginning. There could definitely be, especially with the fact that Jupiter's going retrograde in a couple days and it'll be retrograde for the vast majority of the next 6 months. Uh, that is missed opportunities or things from an opportunity you previously examined or took advantage of even, and it can come back around again. So that would be really
Ooh.
good for you to integrate somehow in
Yeah.
career. So I'm just throwing that out there.
I love it.
You want to know, so like I was just looking at themes of like how am I noticing this playing out, in like real life, like collectively and whatever, and it got a couple really interesting things.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the first, like, this is so fascinating to me. Divorce rates, Libra,
Uh-huh.
sign of marriage.
Yeah.
Okay. South Node in Libra is like a divorce, like kind of energy.
Yeah.
They're declining. And they have been. Weren't you fed the
What?
fucking story that like in the pandemic, divorces were skyrocketing?
We've been fed the story that divorces are at at all, like that 1 in 2 marriages, like at 50%, which is a very high statistic since the 90s. I mean, I remember like it was, like you're fed this dream as a little girl to be like, to want this fairy tale princess story. Also, though, I don't know if a lot of people aren't getting married. So of
This is
course
part of it.
it's of course going to be down because I know more people who are not married and who do not want to be married and who are not even wanting to entertain a relationship right now because of the fuckery that's going on.
That's no, that's part of it. It's not all of it because it's like it doesn't change the rate, marriage
Yeah.
like, but it is part of it. That's literally part of like this thing. But that no, the divorce rates had a surge in the 70s and 80s and have been on a steady decline ever since, and they're projected to continue declining. So part of it, yeah, is like fewer people are getting married, but then I also think it's a lot of it is cohabitation, they said, just being more widely accepted. So like people are just living together like prior to
Yeah.
marriage. So I think it's making people know if it's going to work or not better. Um,
Smart.
uh-huh. But then also that it's like be yes, marriage rates are declining too. It's like at an all-time low, but then that also makes the choice for marriage more of this very selective, intentional thing for people. And it's kind of becoming an institution that's reserved more for like an elite status kind of life. And a predictor of marriage success is economic stability. So it's like if you're financially well off, if you're an elite individual, then of
Yeah.
course marriage is for you. It makes
Yeah.
sense. But also then like the ease of like just living with someone, like people are realizing the benefits of that. I think same with like the benefits of a dual income household, way easier than a fucking single income living situation. But then also, I found this really fascinating, given it's Libra, couples therapy is working. It's playing a serious role in decreasing the rates of divorce. Libra is the couples therapist. It's a marriage counselor, basically. That's what it is. So I think that that's really interesting that like this idea of marriage, even in like we had it wrong. And so like we're kind of like getting rid of that now. Like it would also
Yeah.
be divorce. If it's marriage, it's going to be the opposite too. So it's funny that it's a new moon eclipse. I think marriages are kind of clearly increased. Well, the rate is getting better and it's like significantly better. Like it's like
Wow.
I forget what it is. It's basically something like there are 4 marriages. Oh shit. I what it was like, oh my God, what was the number? I can't remember. It's something like 4 marriages per 1,000 people or something like that, right? And or of the marriages, fuck, I don't remember, but it was like 4 decreased to 2 in like a 2 year period of time. Like like so
Wow.
like basically it was like a 50% decrease in divorce rates. I thought that was so interesting. So that's very, very fucking Libra eclipsey in my mind that this news has like come out and there's like
Yeah.
very big explanations as to why. Um, Similarly, I mean, it's just flipping my head on some things that I think we all thought wrong on. And I don't, it's like, why are we fed these fucking narratives? Like the misinformation these days. Uh, Gen Z
Mhm.
prefers monogamy more than any other generation. They fantasize about it, they want it, they like, it's like
Wow.
their kink. It literally isn't that nuts. Like we really think differently. And millennials aren't far behind. And then Gen X follows millennials.
I was about to say, isn't human beings like we're, like the thing is like I can see both sides. We're fed monogamy. We like the idea, but I also wonder what the statistic is on how many of these people are in open relationships and how many of these people are in polyamorous relationships. And what is that looking like? Like because now the dialogue has started to shift um about these. So very interesting statistics.
I know.
Also, what's I want to see the whole picture.
I know. It was a study that was done from the Kinsey Institute, and it's really interesting. Like, and it's still like they prefer it. It's like their number one preferred. Hold on. I think I, yeah, they, monogamy was the single most preferred relationship style among Gen Z uh, at 23%, though, meaning that's a quarter. So 1 in 4 Gen Z prefers monogamy. They
Okay, well,
want it.
yeah, it's not like a
But then there's
huge.
all these other, but it is the most preferred, like
Yeah.
that's just interesting because like, I think most people, myself included, was thinking, oh, it's just becoming a fucking free for all as the generations get younger right now. Like, but it's not the case.
Didn't you call Gen Z? Was you were the one who told me that their nickname is Zoomers for that
Uh,
they're closely like replicating Boomers. So
boomers, yeah. But really, millennials and Gen X are right behind them, though. It's very, very similar.
people love love. Okay, everyone, step put your guard down.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a real serious like pushback against that. The pendulum always swings, and that's so Libra. Like we said, the scales are balancing
Yeah,
and flip-flopping, the vacillation of things. Like I feel like there was this big push for like the hyper individuation of things that's the Aries eclipse. And like I'm a single, I don't need no man life. I always thought that was like not a good thing. I'm not saying monogamy, it must be your what you do,
yeah,
but I think like the partnering and having these long-term, very valuable, intimate connections, it's literally healthy for you. Like this has always been the case. Biggest
yeah.
projector of life longevity and your ability to survive serious health matters. Is someone there for you? Will someone give a fuck? That it just matters. It's practical though too.
And also, I've noticed it like friendship wise, people are, like, so it's not necessarily
I'd say
in the
more
realm.
than
Yeah, I was about to say it's not necessarily in the realm of romantic relationships. It's like, do you have friends that you can do these things with, who have your back?
yeah, along with that. Like that's true. It's like and serious friends, which is also very much a Libra thing. It's like the one-on-one good close friends. And we I think it was 4% of people admit to having no friends, which is a good thing because that's lower than I thought. I would have thought more people would say they had no friends. Most people admit to having a small group of friends that they feel like are good, but we've again, it's like a 50% decrease. How weird that Libra like scale good, bad. It's like all of this is like 50%. Uh, we have decreased the amount of time that we spend with them. It used to be recently like 6 hours a week we'd spend with a close friend. Now it's 3 hours a week. So we're out of time. We don't, and that like time that we do spend with friends tends to not be quality. Like we don't know how to relate to each other. We struggle at like catching up with one another. I literally just had this experience yesterday with someone that I hadn't talked to in a long time and was very excited to talk to them, honestly. And like, they asked me how I was doing, and I was like kind of giving them an update on some stuff. And I could just tell, like, I wasn't talking long at all, like I was like, yeah, you asked, and like whatever. But I could
Yeah,
tell, like, after like 2 minutes or something, I was like, you have something to say now. Let me wrap it up, and like,
yeah,
and it was just this acknowledgement of like, oh, yeah, me, like, and then they went into their whole thing, and I was like, oh God, okay, for sure. Whatever, like people suck at relating. So like I think the quality of our friendships and our ability to connect with each other obviously has gone down. But that I think because the quality has gone down, which I think is a personal fucking problem. We all need to take responsibility to figure out how to connect, like how to have conversations and relate. Like that is on you. Like it is not on the other person. This is a skill you can have. It's learned. And I think if we're feeling like relationships are decreasing in quality, then of course we're going to naturally spend time. This is why bed rotting is increasing. People are just self-isolating. Also, we're exhausted, like at the end of a work day or
Yeah.
whatever. But I'm not. Like socialization boosts me, like gives me more energy. I have to prioritize that in my life. But it's
Yeah.
hard because they are kind of unfulfilling. I feel like I'm pulling the weight on a lot of it.
It's so fun. I'm so selective right now with who and what I spend my time with. And I have been self-isolating a lot right now. But I'm also back on the scene. But I'm just like, if it's forced, like if I have to force it, or if I find you selfish or boring, like and boring, you can be an eccentric person and still be boring. If you boring of the soul, I don't want anything to do with it. If you only care about yourself, your endeavors, if I can't see a glimmer of kindness in your eye, I am not fucking with you. Get the fuck out of my face. I mean, like, I won't even take you on as a client.
Yeah. I mean,
Especially retreats. I interview people now because I'm like, are you going to be a good fit for the retreat? Because I just like my time, everyone's time is valuable. But if I got to spend 48 hours with somebody, and like I want to make sure that you're engaging, that you ain't bringing down the damn vibe of the room.
no, for sure. That is such a like test of relationship. I love that shit though.
Yeah. So I'm with you. Yeah, with this.
It's crazy to me. And again, very fucking apropos for this fucking eclipse because an article I saw literally yesterday just came across. I was just keeping eyes peeled on this stuff. That's how I came
Hmm.
across the marriage study. And then this friendship article that I came across specifically, I had to like look into that other thing, like realizing we're just spending less time with our friends now too. And that's what's contributing to the loneliness epidemic, basically.
Yeah.
But the article I read initially that made me realize that its headline is it time to reconnect with an old friend? The
Yes.
people from the past coming back, like the South Node eclipse. It's time to start anew with an old connection. And then the whole point of that was that we are like, and it's studied, of course, it like we are reluctant to reach out to old people. 90% of
Don't do
people.
that. Don't be reluctant. Reach out. It's never been easier. You don't even have to pick up the phone. All you have to do is text someone, and you want to connect with someone, ask them how they are and listen. People love to talk about themselves. So it's very easy to like wiggle your way back into someone's life if you aren't a selfish fuck.
Yeah, like you could be that South Node for someone else. Like I'm the past coming back, bitch. Like if you want to, if you really feel like the need to, go for it. But also like entertain anybody else that's popping up. I think that's like really important. And again, this is like the next 6 months.
I got an ex-boyfriend who I haven't accepted his friend request, but he follows me on Facebook right now. Like,
Mhm.
and he's been liking all my shit. I'm like, I'm not ex-boyfriend from when I was like a child. Like, but he was the first person who ever cheated on me. And the way he did it, I was like 15.
Jesus.
Yeah. And he's like, no, bud, don't stand. It just makes me laugh. I'm almost 40 and I'm like, no, back up. Not he just popped up too. He has a fake name too. And I clicked on it, saw the picture. I said,
I feel like that's a good example of like, hey, like past relationship coming back. I often will say like entertain it if somebody reaches out to you from your past or whatever, like there's a purpose for it. In that case, he's not reaching out and contacting you with like a specific purpose,
yeah,
right? He's just fucking like stalking you on social media. That past coming back is a realization for you of like this is what I definitely don't want in relationship moving forward or whatever, right? Like I think that's a good example where like you don't need to fully engage, but the past is coming back and there's probably something to learn from that.
there's no engagement. Like the way my Facebook profile is set up is you can follow. So that's the only reason he can see anything. There is no engagement. Yeah. Not every opportunity that comes your way or reconnection is a good thing.
Mm-mm. No, I still sit with like if it's a direct communication from the past and it's astrologically like saying like there's a past thing resurfacing, I do think it's worth entertaining because you don't know where it's going to go. what you'll get from it. There's a reason for it. In that case, that's him liking your posts is not an open enough door for you to now slide into his DMs and be like, "Hey, you popped back up. What are you doing?" That's not what I mean. I just mean like they need to like very clearly like be initiating something.
I don't even think he's in this country legally, to be honest. Like I don't know anything about him. I don't want to know anything about him, and I am also not available. So like, kick rocks. But it just made me laugh because I was like, "Ew, go away, shoo,
Get out of
get
here."
out."
And reconnect if you're feeling it. I think because the thing that prohibits people, 90% of people say they've just stopped talking to a friend that they actually cared about. You just kind of like stop putting in the effort, you know? That's a lot of
Yes.
people, right? Like I get it, but they don't, they wish that wouldn't have happened. And the vast majority of those people, the thing that prevents them from reconnecting is that they have this very serious feeling that that friend's not going to want to hear from them. So they just
Well, you
convince
don't
themselves of
know.
that. Yeah, you
You
don't
don't
know.
know until you
And
try.
yeah, and like in the vast majority of cases, when a reconnection occurs, people get happier. You're very happy that this has happened. So
Yes.
do it.
My
This is a good
God.
idea.
Yeah. Anytime anyone pops up that I love, like my friend BJ had texted me, girl BJ, not obviously not my friend who died and would rise from the dead, but and I was like, oh my God. And it does, like when someone pops up and they're like, hey, I'm thinking about you, it's like, I've been
I
thinking
know
about you too. Yeah.
isn't it weird? I
Reach
randomly had
out.
a reconnection with a friend yesterday on this fucking Libra eclipse, and I see this headline. Like it's just fucking like, hello.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's played out in a cool way. And I'm not like putting emphasis on it. I don't know what it means. And I'm not going to spiral out wondering what the fuck does that mean? Is this person a bigger part of my story for the next 6 months? I don't fucking know. But it happened and I entertained it and whatever.
Also, you can have some deeper realizations about friendships that you have let go during this time and why you should continue to let that happen, which is also something that happened to me this week where I was like, I was reflecting on this, how it went down. And I was like, you dirty ass bitch. Fuck you. Like, I went,
You dirty ass bitch.
Big long story short, I don't, it's not like she's going to listen, but
No,
somebody I've had some stuff with, been close with on and off through years. She knows I'm going through a hard time because somebody had a big fat mouth and told her. She checks on the other party, not me. The best friend that's been on. She checks on the other party, and the other party tells me. And meanwhile, this is a boundary loving motherfucker. Okay, if this was on the other shoe, boy, would. So I was like, am I taking this too seriously? Well, I talked to my friend Mare about it, and Mare, who's a Virgo, was like, the fuck, Virgo, and then double Libra. She was like, fuck this. I mean, the way she exploded, I was like, oh, this is what it must feel like to be on the end of when I get passionately heated about about people being mistreated. So this is a few months ago. Circle back, I check on her about something. We haven't talked to her. I check on this person. They, respond back, hey, thanks for checking. Still, here's an opportunity for you to just be like, hey, how are you? Nothing. Nothing. I am going out of my way to make sure your loved ones are I was telling Mary again, I was in her chair and I re-pissed myself off on this. I made myself even more mad because I'm like, here's an opportunity, the easiest of opportunities to be like, hey, I heard you're going through something. And you can't do that. You fucking dirty ass selfish bitch.
that's that South Node right now. Really at play, dude.
Let me put the final nail in the coffin for this.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't coming back. But I'm pissed. Fuck you. Sorry, I'm just it's
She's
like
fired up. That's Megan's North Node in Aries.
and I'm giving abbreviated versions because I'm not trying to air out the business. I'm not trying to have people who know me in my personal life connect the dots. But I mean, it'd be very easy too. But it was just chapped my ass, because the thing is, I'm sensitive. At the end of the day, I will always check on this person too. If I hear you're going through a rough time, if I hear your family, anything, because I'm a kind person. But you know what? Mm, ugh, just chaps me. And I'm not apologizing either. If you people don't like passion, then you're listening to the wrong podcast.
No, no, that's fine. I'm just trying to connect it to everybody who's listening. I'm like, it's clear that like, no, I really think that this is a very serious trend. People are definitely noticing, of like who is there for you and who isn't, and that is like, I think
Mhm.
what this eclipse is really totally teaching you. And to weirdly even go back to what you were saying at the very start of like, the universe doesn't like space, but this is a time of purging. The South Node is
Yeah.
a literal flushing away of something. So you're flushing away these one-on-one connections, maybe served their time and place, and they were good for you at a certain point, but not anymore. So it's flush them out, and that space will get filled with new people that are good for you. Or it existing people who are already good for you will become bigger priorities in your life, you
Bingo.
know?
Yeah, bingo. Exactly. And that's the thing too. Then I have people who are just, like it's just it's so interesting the attachments that we have to people, especially long-term attachments. And when you start to realize like you've outgrown people, places, things, and you're like, this isn't, the reason why I took a step back from this individual, and it was a conscious step on my end, was because I was sick of gossiping about people. I was sick of stewing in negativity. And it's like the thing is, you see the potential of people. And
Mhm.
this person is wonderful. Has the potential, can be absolutely wonderful. You see the potential of people, but you cannot stick around, and you have fun, and like, and I'm a perverted little lady, so like I want to talk shit when I'm out, and you have someone who can match that sarcasm and go toe to toe. It's fun.
I know.
you
And
know
I know. No, I've seen the same. I wouldn't even like gossip a little bit, but like I think I've definitely seen like the, I don't know, toxicity of some people that I'm like, have you always been this way? Or am I more sensitive to it now? Or like it just doesn't work for me anymore. Like, I don't know.
they have, because they didn't, the thing is that you change, I've grown, they stayed the same, and that's the issue at hand, where it's just like, and there's nothing, that's their journey. But
Right.
mm,
I
it,
know. I think like I wonder because I really am keen on like long-term connections like are really important for people. It's not to say that like some you can have long-term connections that also don't last forever, right? Like,
yeah,
but it's good to be establishing them. And I think like it's going to be important for people to not be so flippant either about
correct.
being like, oh, well, we're different people now. I like, and just letting that be. Like, I think how can you have a discussion about like, okay, we are different people now. Like, how does that work moving forward? Like, does that work moving forward? Like, you've changed, but the other person hasn't. Isn't Can that be a topic of discussion because there's history there that is worth hanging on to?
And I saw this a lot too when I quit drinking because I changed immensely. So the people who really stuck around, they made that concerted effort, particularly when I was like anxiety was so high. I was such a wackadoo in 2018 because I could not figure out how to behave in public. I was so socially awkward. And so those people who stuck around during that time, like my friend Poppy, she makes a concerted effort. She got sober a few months before I did. But like, man, I can't I've not put in the effort of trying to stay connected like she did. And we're still friends to this day because of that effort. And I recognize that. And so when she does, I'm not the greatest responder to personal text messages, but I do try and hit her back within 24 hours because she put that effort in, man. And effort's important. Effort is important.
It's so important, dude. We have such a like habit of going for those people who ignore us or whatever.
Breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs, because it's wired, from childhood or whatever. But like, No. And there are certain people that I have connections with or have had friendship connections with. And, like sometimes you meet someone and a connection is startling or you're polar opposites, but there's been something in my gut that said, like, you need to stick around. And I have, and there are two friendships I have right now that have really blossomed. But I mean, one I fully was like, get the fuck away from me. I mean, like, this was right after BJ died too. So I was like, like, and now one of my closest friends and someone that I can run to in a time of need, which is priceless. And so we're here for relations. I mean, how we got here to like working like this and being in this, capitalistic, and I know we need capitalism. I'm not saying that, but like the grind that people, the soul grind that we're all going through, why? When does it end? We need each other. We need to connect. We need hugs. Oh my God, do we need hugs? I've never been so like touch deprived lately.
That's literally one of the things that I also read yesterday. Like, I mean, like I also agree. I'm so serious. I mean, I definitely have like noticed that. Like, I'll like isolate in my room for like an entire fucking week because I'm just like busy as fuck. Obviously, we're
Yeah.
seeing friends less, right? And I'm like, oh my God, it's literally I can't remember the last time like I literally hugged a friend. Like, it's insane to feel that touch starved. But it's an actual fucking thing that I also read yesterday that
Yeah.
depression is contagious, meaning if you're super depressed, if you're, just in that vibe or whatever, and you physically touch someone, it can really depress them. It's the same almost as just like sharing physical space with someone. Like if you have a roommate and one of you is depressed, it's totally going to impact the other person who's living in that space. But the opposite is also true. There's the healing touch, right? Like,
Yeah.
as you know, Reiki, like hello. So like I think that that's really interesting, and we are very touch starved. Like, oh my God, people
Yeah.
are like hugging less and less and less, holding a hand, hugging, shoulder, touch a shoulder. Fuck, man.
It's
It's
so true.
insane.
I mean, it is like hugs are important. And yeah, like now, like if you're hugging me, like we're hugging for 20 seconds, like period, the end. That's what's happening. 20 seconds. And men particularly, because women can hug a lot more and be a lot more openly affectionate, especially like hetero men. I mean, you have to think that's why they typically, I read somewhere it's like American men, that's why they're so protective over typically their girlfriends or their wives, because that's the only touch they get. Like Russians and Eastern Europeans, like they're going to like Turkish baths together. Okay. Like they're big
Hmm.
Russian dudes who are, like they're affectionate. They're kissing each other. They're hugging each other. And they're not gay. Like but because of the how homosexuality had been viewed so much in America, like and we're coming out of that, thank God. But when do you see two hetero dudes really hugging it out?
Yeah,
You
no,
know?
and it's not even just the view of homosexuality, it's the lack of ability for men to express emotion other than what
Yeah.
anger and like
Happiness.
confidence. Yeah, like
Yeah.
they can't they don't have places to go. It's like super crazy, which, well, we do have a whole thing on m- masculine, feminine, like an episode on that. And I think
Energy.
getting like a
Yeah.
good masculine spirituality coach or whatever, I've got a couple. Definitely want to talk about that, which I also just saw. I had never heard this story before, but I saw some woman who I think was like a New York Times journalist or something like that,
Uh-huh.
who did a like experiment to live as a man, like basically became trans, like for a
Cool.
study, and like
Cool.
could really pass as like a dude, and but wasn't like,
Yeah.
and did it for like I think about a year and a half or something, wrote a
That's a lot.
book about her findings on it because she started dating women and like to see like what's it like for a man. This blew me away, and like I'm hesitant to like talk about it because I think it's a controversial subject that frankly a lot of women don't want to have. But like, you know, she killed herself because that's how much it impacted her to be a man and see the treatment that she experienced as a man. It made her more, as she was like going through it, she realized I'm like so happy to be a woman. Like it made her
Yeah.
feel more feminine. But she was like so distraught by the process and treatment she received from women. She killed herself. Go fucking figure. Men have higher suicide rates,
Rates of
right? Go
suicide.
figure that the loneliness epidemic is much more weighted on men. And like
Mm-hmm.
the constant thing I hear every time this conversation is brought up, the constant response I hear from women is, well, you did it to yourselves. Well, fucking open up. And it's like, we're trying now. We're trying. And look at you shut it down. You like, well,
You
what are
know
you
what?
doing?
It's
Like,
funny. It's ironic you say that because I have to remind people, like I'm like my female clients, I'm like, men are people too, and they have a whole host of emotions. And I do believe that most people are good. I really do. And like, and yeah, we've got some bad apples and we've got some people who are wounded, and you're gonna hurt people and you're gonna be the villain in someone's story, and so am I, and so is everybody. But when you go in through that lens, obviously we need to be protective of one another. But the villainization.
especially right now, like I think to we didn't like there's not a goddamn millennial dude or younger, I would say. We didn't create this culture. We were conditioned by it. We're products of a toxic culture. Don't
Yeah.
Sure, there's a perpetuating element to that, right? But like many people are recognizing that and trying to deprogram it and whatever. You need to fucking help. Like it's a whole fucking thing, you know? Similarly, like all this really is men embracing their femininity, right? That's the masculine and feminine
Yeah.
energies at play. And everybody's saying, there's toxic masculinity and there's the rise of the divine feminine happening right now, right? This is men trying to open up into their feminine. At the same time, women, I find this to be like the biggest fucking conundrum. And I like put my thoughts together better on it. But this idea of like women stepping into their feminine power and the rise of the feminine and all of that, right? And they're like really like claiming it, and women are in power.
Yeah.
That is women embracing their masculine. Okay. We're just seeing females in their masculine. Okay. So it's kind of like a rise of the masculine through a feminine way, like through the women. So I just think that's really fucking interesting that like women often will talk about how it's the rise of the feminine and the divine feminine. It's blah 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 blah. But it's like,
You know who I want to get on, and I wonder if she would be open to it. Her name is Allison Armstrong, and she wrote this book called The Queen's Code, and it is she wrote it. It's a in like 30 days, and she said spirit kind of came through, and it's a book about divine feminine, divine masculine, and I listen to this 3 to 4 times a year. It challenges so many things that were instilled upon me by society. It has completely changed my relationship with men of all, from my dad to Josh to my brother to my friends. It has changed the way I communicate with them, how I understand them. But it is so triggering and people, I have some of my clients who are like,
mm,
I thought you were a feminist. I'm like, I am. But if you can't listen, we have to have civil discourse. And if something is getting triggered in me, that's up to me to examine. And once I got past, why is this triggering? Why don't I like this? There are a few things in life that are true, from certain standards. It is a fantastic book.
it'll be linked in the show notes, everybody.
Yeah, the Queen's Code. She's done a few. I would be curious if she would be open to it. She's an older woman, and it's hearing her narrate this book is hilarious because she is an older woman and the way, some of the scenes. But it has, and there are a few times a year where I'm like, damn, I need to go back and listen. And I right now where I'm at, I'm like, damn, I need to go back and take a listen because you want partnership. This is where you get it from.
Yeah, I think that's lovely. Like, definitely click the link in the show notes to get that book. Hit her up, and I would say that would be a cool like thing if we get
I
her
know. I
and
wonder how we
like
can.
a guy that focuses on the masculine more so, or it's like a two-parter. Like maybe she does the feminine.
You're since you got the background in PR, I'll like let's figure out a way because she's like she's world renowned for this. I mean, she's it's pretty incredible. And I just my friend and client Erica was like, yeah, I read this book, and I was like, what? And then she started talking a little bit about it, and I was like, well, if you're gonna die, I need to know so my sessions can be effective. And then I was like, holy shit, it is a game changer just as far as how we communicate. Like women are multi-focused, men are solo focused. When you ask how we communicate, women make a sandwich, we layer. Okay, we
Mm-hmm.
can interrupt each other. Men don't communicate like that. So when you ask a man a question, you need to ask him a question and then shut up and wait. And then women don't like awkward pauses, so we want to fill it, we want to try and solve. So if I ask you a question and then you don't answer quick enough, then I'm like, oh, he didn't understand me. So now I'm gonna ask you the same question, but give you A, B, C, D, E. Well, now you, Ryan, have to be like, wait, okay, and you have to reconfigure the question. Then you're still taking too long. So a woman will come back and be like, oh, so let me give you true or false. Well, by the time you get to that, they're so frustrated because they're like, motherfucker, I give me time to answer the initial question so I can compose my thoughts.
Yeah.
It is incredible.
Down. Yeah, I'm into it.
Even these, I'll ask a question because I get so excited with you that I'll have to be like, okay, pause. Like even when I went and I was like, oh, let me I was like, oh, I cut you off. What did you, like, go for it? Like but that's part of it. Because I just assumed everyone, I think most women assume that we communicate the same ways. The most brilliant part of this book, and then this is the last thing I'll say about it, is all women compare that we compare everyone to the perfect person. Who do you think the perfect person is in a woman's mind?
Their dad.
A woman. So
I'm
we
just
are
kidding.
comparing the perfect person to so we are comparing men. We're expecting men to behave like women emotionally.
But when men behave like women, they get pissed and they think it's an ick.
But the thing is, men never do behave like women because we're completely programmed differently. So if I ask you to do something and you don't do it, also here's something. Men always have a good reason for everything they're doing. I might not like the reason, but there is always a reason why a man is doing what they're doing.
I'd say this is masculine, feminine, like, and
Yeah,
removing that from gender of it, because I think that's a very like straight thing.
it is.
Like,
It is. That you're right. Absolutely. It is.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
absolutely.
yeah, because I would lean more, I definitely think I relationally lean way more on the feminine side of things
Yeah,
versus
valid
the
point.
masculine.
This book is definitely for hetero. Yeah, so
No,
valid.
but you can look at it in terms of masculine, feminine energy and how everybody can embody all those things. You know what I mean? I think it's so fascinating. I love that stuff.
I love your take on things because obviously I'm not a gay man, and so I'm able
Uh,
to, I'm like, oh,
well,
I didn't even think of it from that perspective.
I think like the only way I like even try, I just try to de-gender things. You know what I mean? To be
Yeah.
like, because it's like, what the fuck are we doing that for? There's literally like no purpose. Other than literally the purpose of genderization of everything is just fucking capitalism. Oh, so we can buy multiples and differences of things because we're like pink and blue shit, whatever. I wouldn't even go there. It's so long. My favorite course that I ever
Uh-huh.
took in college was feminist course. It's where I learned so much of this stuff.
I just went to go buy creatine, which is a supplement that everyone should be taking, and there was a brand that was marketing for creatine for women with a pink label, same exact ingredient as everything else. The markup on that product was 38% just because it had a pink label. Same product.
Hmm.
All because it's like, oh, look at me. It wasn't even flavored. It wasn't even like a flavored creatine. So yeah, it is interesting to see all sides of this.
Yeah.
Be a decent person. Connect. That's what this comes down to. Text your friends, ask how they are, connect with one another, make a plan to meet up. And hey, if you're being awkward or you feel if it's awkward, just be like, hey,
Hmm.
feeling a little awkward, call it by its name. And then that actually eradicates the weirdness. And then you're able to get on with it.
Yeah. Uh, and maybe people need to go. Maybe it's not worth the reconnection or the like furthering of a relationship. That doesn't also mean you need to be a bitch about it. Like you can actually do that in an adult way or something. You know, you know, I think it's definitely a good time to be initiating more intentional relationships right now, I think.
Be kind, but
I had like some other things, but like some of this stuff I feel like is like really good for other episodes. I got a couple really cool things. And I know we got to wrap up shortly anyway. We're on a time
okay.
crunch, everybody. But I feel like this was good. It was like actually purely
Yeah.
focused on the like Libra energy, but I feel like it's showing up in like a really serious way. I was like shocked at the headlines that I just like came across. I was like,
That is
what?
wild.
I know it's so, and I've obviously, I guess maybe I'm more attuned to it because I did want to see how it was showing up, but that was like kind of it. It was like that and some politics stuff, you know, like and Diddy, fucking Diddy.
Yeah. Ooh.
But none of that's
Boy, did
like
he get
very
he
Libra eclipsy. It's
well, he got
eclipsy.
eclipsed. I was gonna say he got eclipsed,
It's he got eclipsed. And I think it was like it came out 6 months ago at the last eclipse cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's like, oh, here it is. He's definitely that luminary getting
Also, what
eclipsed.
was interesting is he has some Haitian deity or goddess on his back, but it's a protector of women and children that he has tattooed on his back. And the day he got arrested was apparently her day, like the day that yeah. So it was
I
like,
love it. Oh, I love it. I
woo.
guess with Libra being allies and your one-on-one connections, it could be like the people who are, and it's open enemies too, is Libra. Um, so, you know, 50 Cent's gunning for him
I
right
was just
now.
about to say,
Like,
I mean, boy, is he having a heyday. He posted a picture of him and Drew Barrymore, like he's like just, you know, enjoying some beautiful company.
dude.
He is. I love him.
And then plenty of people, I know he's been like really fucking a stand-up dude on all this. Like he's great.
I mean, that Cancer energy, like
Mm,
he's celibate right now. He's intentionally celibate, and he was like, "Listen," he was like, "It's important because I can see people for who they are." And so he's like, "When I go on a date with someone," he was like, "Girl, you're fine, but you ain't got nothing going on." He was like, "It's easy for me to detach." And so
yeah,
he's really focusing on connection, and he was, like, but he's also he appears to be fearful of commitment. But his books are fantastic. That's why he's out touring right now. He's
yeah,
got a new book. But I mean, I'm a
yeah,
big fan.
yeah.
Big
Dude's
fan.
got some
Curtis
wisdom.
Jackson. Yeah, boy. You get shot that many times, you sure as fuck ain't gonna
That's what
come
I'm
back as
saying.
strong. You gotta come back with some wisdom. I mean, that is a tough mofo.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's cute
And
as a
if
button.
I think all those individuals who were allied with Diddy are really having some problems right now, really wishing they
Wait,
weren't. Did you see that press conference from the lawyer? Who,
no.
if anybody didn't hear this, like the lawyer came out and basically was like, we have been contacted by over 3,000 people who say that they have been like abused by Sean P. Diddy Combs. And of that, like 120, I believe, are the like, fully credible, like evidence supporting it. I think 25 of them were minors, including a 9-year-old boy whose
Oh,
parents like facilitated it to get the kid a record deal. And then the guy was like, so this is like what we're working with, and we're clearly still like
digging
swimming in the
through.
data and shit. And but he's like in the next like 30 days, basically, he's like, we're gonna be filing a lot of stuff, and everybody who's associated with this will be named from like the individuals who were participating, who were just bystanders and didn't say anything, to like the one with like the 9-year-old boy happened in a record studio, like a recording studio. So that the recording studio would have known about it. So like brands, like businesses will also be called out in this. Like this is like what I think what everybody thought was happening with Epstein, which fucking should have happened. I think that's gonna be this, but it is shocking because it's like I think the biggest thing I've seen is like people who are speaking out against it, 50 Cent, Kesha, right? Like these are
Yeah.
people who aren't afraid, like that because they have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
Look at all the people who are not
I was
speaking out about it.
about to say, I mean, like, it is staggering,
It is
you know,
insane. I'm
how many
like,
people, because
will
they're
we have
all
celebrities
scared.
left?
I know. Like Aubrey O'Day, like from Danity Kane, she's been like very, I mean,
He's
like,
gonna be like Grammy Award winning next year because
you
there's no
know,
other singer left.
who are Jaguar Wright? She's all over
Okay, but we need to
TikTok.
be careful about her. She's crazy.
Yeah.
I just learned this. No, she's like a profound liar. Piers Morgan just had her on. I mean, she's like called some stuff I understand, and she
Yeah.
was part of the industry and whatever. I know. She had some insider info, but she was literally just on fucking national television saying that Jay-Z and Beyonce facilitated Aaliyah's death, that they put her in the plane and they're the reason that Aaliyah's dead. Beyonce was 19 and Jay-Z and Beyonce were not together at that point. What the fuck are you talking about? Like how that
That's what she's very hot on Jay-Z. She's very
yeah,
like,
but like girl, this
very hot.
literally
Yeah.
makes no sense. Like
Yeah. So that's what
it's
I'm
like
curious.
timeline wise, it couldn't have happened.
Well, and then you have it's interesting, like, who's not gonna get caught up in this is Russell Simmons because he's in Bali. So they can't extradite him.
A few people have left, like the country, like right after. I think they arrested P. Diddy. A number of people left the country, including Leo DiCaprio. I think Steve Harvey left, and that was one that everybody was shocked by. But, and this is like grain of salt. We'll see by the time this comes out. I don't know. Perez Hilton, of all fucking people, said, and he's like, I have it on a very good source who like really does fucking know their shit and whatever. But he's like, there is a celebrity, a daytime like a talk show host who is now suspended, like suddenly. And it kind of coincided with the fact that Steve Harvey left. Steve
I've
Harvey
been
and
hearing
Peter.
different
So
things.
I'm
I've
like,
been hearing blind items about Steve Hardy
dude,
for a while.
there's just a lot of people. I think we're just gonna be surprised, like by a lot of people. But then I wonder like what that means. But like if you're gonna go after all these people who were just even bystanders, right? And just didn't ever do anything to stop it. We clearly know like someone like Justin Bieber has attended these parties. What about
As a
those people who
child.
like maybe was he victimized by it, but also a bystander? Will there be repercussions on him?
Yeah. Usher
Like, I don't
too.
know.
Like,
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like some of them are maybe going to be in a gray area. I don't know. I don't know. Very fucking weird stuff though. That is some salacious
Ben
eclipse
Affleck
energy.
divorcing Jay, or like it being like, oh no, I'm getting out of the, you ain't bringing me down. Goodwill Hunting. I don't think so, buddy. It's wild, and I do think that because Epstein was so botched,
I
that
mean,
this
like,
will
what the
be
fuck?
why are release those fucking, like what's going on?
It's
I'll be
insane.
surprised if there's not if there's not coinciding.
Hmm. The only other thing I could think with the eclipse too, and just like also the idea of like an October surprise with the election, because that typically happens, is the whole Trump doc got released. I think was it yesterday on the eclipse, um, which was like 165 pages, but it details everything about how he interfered with the election results in January 6th and all that stuff. Which most of it was like, okay, well, we already knew a lot of this from like Congress hearings or whatever, but there were like some very specific details in there that's like, oh, no, they do have some very serious info on this guy. So that might be a little bit of an October surprise. I don't feel like it is because I feel like his supporters are so fucking brainwashed that it's going to take
I was about
something
to
like
say it wouldn't.
heinous
It's
for
not.
them.
It was interesting to see because I didn't watch the VP debate, but to see who I knew leaned left and who leaned right and their interpretation, like just based off of like, I thought we weren't gonna fact check and how that line alone was interpreted by both sides. And it was like, whoa.
And the fact that like the Republicans, because statistically they're dumber, are they were on into the smooth talker, the smooth delivery of JD Vance. They can't understand what he's saying. JD Vance is not Trump talk. Trump talks like a 4-year-old. They that's their intelligence level. Literally. JD Vance is a educated person and he is a smooth talker, but he uses big words that Republicans do not understand, like a lot of them, right? Like the Trump base. And so I don't think they could understand his content whatsoever, but he sounds good and that matters. Fucking Tim Walz has never debated, but his substance was way better. And then he really nailed, I mean, from the vast majority of things I've seen and like undecided voters, even like, I think it's the deciding factor was Tim Walz winning when he kind of cornered JD about did Trump steal the election or not, and JD wasn't willing to, or I mean, sorry, was did Trump lose the election, and JD wasn't willing to answer it because he's fucking beholden to Trump. JD's up there debating for one person and one person alone, and that's for Trump. It's not for anybody else. He's like trying to please Trump. He couldn't have said, yeah, no, Trump lost. They will not admit that, which is literally like insane.
You know what's so funny too, what you said about the smooth talking with JD Vance is that when Obama was running, the same thing was said about him. Like he's such a smooth talker.
It matters.
That by the time you get to 1, 2, and third, like his third point, you don't remember the first point. So it's just the party switched. Whereas at that point, Republicans thought that they were more intelligent than Democrats and that they didn't understand who they were voting for with Barack Obama. And it was just because he was Black. That's what a lot of Southern Republicans thought. I was obviously here.
Yeah,
And now to hear that, and now the flip where it's like Democrats are, is saying that they're more intelligent than Republicans and that JD Vance is a smooth talker and that they don't understand. It's just so wild. And what's even more wild is what happened in 2008. That's when Pluto moved into Capricorn. What is happening?
Mm-hmm.
Pluto just came into Capricorn last time. It's about to move into Aquarius. So what a wild coincidence. If you could see the way you're looking at me, you're beaming at me like a proud
well, no, yeah, it's like a good yes. This is like this astrological connection of it all, right? It's
beaming at me like a proud, but isn't that like that connection right there? See,
I know there's so much going on. I'm very excited about it.
we're gonna have some things to talk about, so stay tuned.
Oh,
and if you can't tell, we're unhinged and ready to roll. So you're hinged. I'm not.
I know. I'm like, I don't know. I'm trying to like.
You're very hinged lately. You're very.
I know. I'm trying to like stay somewhat grounded. I don't know. I feel like very unhinged. Everything is unhinged. So I'm like, I'm trying to be the hinge. I think I'm just trying to. I'm just trying to hinge. I don't know. Oh God. Thanks. Well, that's all, folks. That's what she wrote.
Yeah. Till next time. From your favorite hinger and your favorite unhinged.